Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. How you doing? So I'm gonna add Lilia. Good morning, Henry Okonkwo. It's good to see you. Good morning, Grandma Taria. Good morning. Morning. Good to see you. Mainland 98 FM. Good morning, Mainland. How you doing? Lydia. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. You're welcome to Up You with Ezinne. It's so good to have you here. Good morning, Josfyn. You're here. Okay, I was actually waiting for you. So this October, we've elected to advocate for multiple causes to help raise awareness and make a positive impact on various issues such as the importance of sustainable practices for the environment, early detection and prevention methods for breast cancer, and recognizing the signs and symptoms of strokes, to mention but a few. So we're going to be advocating for all of these causes all of October. And to kickstart this series today, we will be discussing climate change and environmental sustainability. So buckle your seatbelt and come on a ride with us. It's Up You Are, and I'm here to keep you company. And with me today is Lydia.
Hi, Lagos.
Did we hear you, Lydia? You sure we can hear you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Good. So Lydia is in the house looking all pretty. You're going to see her when we post the pictures as usual. So come on with us and let's do this. It's our Up You Are, and I'm here to keep you company as usual. So let's do this, my beautiful people. Finding self, finding purpose. My name, as always, is Ezinne Kufure Ekanem. The topic we're having today is Woman Act Now. Where act is action changes things, especially when it's the right action taken at the right time. Change will occur. What is climate change? That's what we're here to talk about today. Climate change. And how is this a woman's problem anyway? Climate change. How does it concern a woman? Why should a woman be bothered about climate change? Yeah, so climate change refers to the long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns in the world. And the last time I checked, I was told, or I read, that over 90% of the changes in our climate, in our environment, are caused by humans. Lydia, I think women are part of the human race, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Okay, so we agree that women are part of the human race, and so as such, we should be discussing climate change as it affects the woman. Yeah. May I remind you that all episodes of Up You with Ezinne are up on our YouTube and podcast channels at Up You with Ezinne. So stay with us and don't miss a thing. We'd like you to participate and contribute your thoughts and opinions on the conversation. So please get ready to ask us some questions, to make your own contributions. It's always better when we're learning together. And that is why we're doing the live, so that we can have these interactions. If you're just joining us, this is Up Here with Ezinne, and the topic today is Woman Act Now.
Hi, ladies. So call everybody in that you know to join in. This is a very interesting topic. We would want to know how women should act and how we are going to be a very good addition to this climate change, what we can do to stop the adverse effects of climate change, and how we can help to stop it and how we can help to curb it. So call in everyone you can, call in everyone you need. Every woman needs to be a part of this.
This morning we're talking about Woman Act Now, where act is action changes things. You know, a lot of times we see things going wrong, but we do nothing and the things keep getting wrong, and they keep going from worse to where we don't even know, carrying us to where we don't know. So this morning we're talking about action changes things. Woman Act Now. What do you think about action changes things?
There's a popular saying is you act. When you act, you're actually working, you're doing something when you act. So in other words, it's best to act in order to show that you're doing something. So you act, and then you're making a change. Whenever you're doing something, when you're carrying out an action, be it positive or negative, you're doing something. You understand? So it definitely changes things. Every action we do, everything we set out to do, every single action we take has an impact in all aspects of our lives. We tend to change, make a change. We tend to grow with every action we make. So it's always advised to act more and listen more, and then maybe say less sometimes. So I prefer we do more actions in order to get things done.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we've got Josfyn finally back on. I hope we
Yeah,
don't lose you again.
but I hope I don't lose you again too. I don't want to lose you, please.
Okay, great. So let's just run with it.
Yeah,
Before you came on, we were talking about acts.
yeah,
Action changes things.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but now let's just kickstart the series and start a discussion on climate change.
yeah.
Um, of course, I know that people are going to be saying, what is climate change and how is this a woman's problem? I can imagine that that's the question on several people's minds right now. After all, upyouwithEzinne is a female-centric program. So what's she talking about climate change? Well, in my layman's understanding, or laywoman if you like, climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns in the world. And the last time I checked, 90% of these changes are caused by humans, and women form part of these humans. But seriously, we need to educate ourselves on the dangers facing our world so that we can contribute to the prevention of actions that erode our planet in our natural roles as gatekeepers and beyond. May I
Yeah.
remind you that all episodes of Up with Ezinne are all on our YouTube channel, so please go take what you need to run your life. Lydia is doing her hair on our live. Interesting. If you're just joining us, this is Up with Ezinne, and the topic is Woman Act Now. And I'm bringing up our guest for today. Our guest today is Josfyn Uba, an award-winning humanitarian journalist. That's a new one on me, humanitarian journalist
Yeah.
with vast experience in print journalism. She had worked in the defunct Fame magazine before joining the Daily Sun newspaper. She has put in about 20 years in newspaper reporting, covering various bits from lifestyle, human interest, and investigative stories. Presently, she also contributes to several international news platforms aside from journalism. Her interest in saving the earth has led to the creation of an NGO, which with special interest in restoration of the ecosystem through tree planting program. As the co-founder of 1 Million Trees Initiative, she's passionately involved in climate change awareness and environmental advocacy. Her NGO 1 Million Trees Initiative has partnered with LASEPA and Rotary Club International in their annual tree planting project in several schools and communities, both in Lagos and Delta states, where she hails from. Her hobbies include listening to reggae music, watching cartoons, and protecting nature. Dear Opu Tribers, please join me in welcoming this amazing woman who identifies as a humanitarian journalist. Oh my goodness, that's a new one. Okie dokie. Good morning, Josfyn. It's a real pleasure to have you here today.
Good morning, Ezinne, and good morning, the good people of the world. Just
Oh,
from by
wow.
my name, and it's nice to be here with you.
You know,
Yeah,
I feel in my mind that you have something very important to share with us today because honestly, it's been very difficult to have you come on, and we've been having so many technicalities, and this only happens when somebody has something really heavy to say.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good, isn't it? Thanks for that. And then thank you for all you're doing for women. I will say up you too.
Thank
Very
you very
good.
much.
Yeah.
So let's not
Um,
tempt fate. Let's not tempt fate, eh? Let's just run with the show so
okay.
that the
Yeah.
internet and everything
Like,
keeps. Yeah.
like you rightly said, that climate change has
Mm-hmm.
been actually described as the long-term alterations in
Mm-hmm.
global temperature
Yeah.
and precipitations and other weather conditions, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are caused by human activities.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is due to burning of fuels, burning of dangerous substances, and then deforestation and all manner of things that people do, to deplete the ozone layer without actually knowing what their actions are up to. And so it is important that we address some of these issues because the effects of these things come as warming of the earth's surface gradually, and then that's where we are. It's a problem, and I can tell you that many people would have thought that this almighty climate change we're talking about and global warming issues are fables. They are fables. They are just mere rhetoric, but they are not. The dangers are grave. The stark reality is that there is not much time left for us. Because if you look at what is happening now, you see that the dangers are too much. The world is probably sitting on a time bomb, literally. And as far as these issues are concerned, the destruction is enough proof. Some 1 month or two ago in Libya, that's desert area, the kind of flood that came swept away the entire city and is unprecedented, you know. So it is a huge problem. It is a huge problem, and these impacts are on different sectors of the society. It leaves a devastating effect on all facets of human existence. Nobody is spared. Severe weather, rising sea levels are affecting people and their properties, both in developed and in developing world, from the small scale farmer in Nigeria to the businessman in London to the richest man in Asia, is affecting everyone, especially like you said, women and then children and then vulnerable people, because women are most affected, women and children, just like in war. I wouldn't say that we're in war now, but it looks like um, we don't have much time left unless we do something, unless we take action. And then action is most important, both from governments and from individuals. Because, like Bob Marley will say, when it rains, it doesn't rain on one man's roof, it rains everywhere. And when it rains, it pours. Now, it just doesn't rain, it pours. You can see the massive flood everywhere. When a little drop of rain comes on the earth's surface, everywhere is enveloped in flood. Weather conditions have changed. Before now, you could say that you can actually predict the kind of rain that will come in September, the kind of rain that will come in July. But now they are all unpredictable. You can't predict anymore. So it's the ecosystem and the damages on infrastructure and human lives is enormous. So we can't play with that.
Thank you very much. You know, I started smiling when you gave the Bob Marley instance. I said yes, you're really a reggae fan. But seriously, what you're describing is quite alarming,
Yeah.
honestly, because you actually said that we've run out of time. I remember as a young person in my younger days in the secondary school, I believe, we talked about that was when we started hearing about climate change and all of that, and we were encouraged to plant a tree, you know, that if we plant a tree, we'll be able to save the earth. But of course, we are still indiscriminately cutting down trees without replacing them and all of that. When the Libya flood happened, I was scared for all of us here in Lagos because Lagos is actually like a coastal city, and I'm just imagining that if that kind of flood happens to us here in Lagos, we are all toast. We keep thinking that we're very wise, and then we're going against nature. We're driving the ocean far and far, and we're building houses on coastal line, and it's not downing on us that we're looking for trouble. So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that you started an NGO, 1 million trees. Can you talk to us about it?
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much again. I have always been conscious about my environment, about the sustainability of the environment, and then the issues, because it's been a long time this has started happening. But we were taking it in small bits, you know. A lot of people thought it was a joke. You know, now it's coming on really, really strong on all of us. So, but I started this a long time ago, and what I called it at that time was Eco Corps. It was in 1993, but like I said, and if you remember, we were chatting, I said, if it's not going my way, then it's going God's way. At that point, so with all the technical problems we were having, I was a bit worried, but not so much worried, because I said, well, if it's not going my way, it's going God's way. It's going exactly the same way God wants it. You know, so I tried to do that with my co-team members and my brothers and friends. We called it Eco Corps at that time, 1993. We were with FEPA, if you remember at that time.
Yes, I know.
And we were going to USIS to look for materials. At that time, there wasn't internet. We were going to USIS library, and then we were getting things together. And we started this. But again, it was taught for some reason. So in 2020, during the COVID period, when everybody was actually indoors, and things, it looks like the world had come to its knees. It looks like the world had actually crumbled. And I said again with my brother, what were we going to do? We can't just sit in like that. That idea again came. I said, why don't you come up again, look at what is happening on the world? And then we started. And then the idea to start this 1 million trees initiative came. And then we collaborated with LASEPA this time. And then everyone thought that, oh no, people were skeptical about whether the world was going to continue, whether we were going to live. But I said, whatever it is, as long as humans are on the earth, we're still going to do what we're doing. And that was how it came. And so that was the need for us to help sustain the environment, help raise awareness, and then take action, because action is exactly what matters. Yes, we will do the talk, but it's about actions, you know. And I can tell you that we have planted a lot of trees, you know, a good number of trees. We actually collaborated with LASEPA, and then we planted well over 70 trees at a Magodo housing estate. That was in 2021, yes, Magodo Housing Estate. We planted trees that are called Madagascan almonds. They are not old almond trees, because those almond trees that we had before, you know, are so massive, and then they can actually come on structures that give them 6-7 years. They start pulling down, you know, the wall. So we had to plant this. And after that, 2021, we took it to the children, because we said, yes, we are doing this for some of us, or for us who are old enough. But Ezinne, I can tell you that we humans are burdened with a lot of issues, but the older we are, the more burdened we are. We'll be talking about school fees, we'll be talking about midlife crisis, we'll be talking about and then school fees, and then you're taking your drugs. No, you're not taking your drugs. Are you healthy? But I said, no, we must push it to the generation next, because they are the ones who will take it up, and then they are the ones who will take it to the next level. So we started I know that United Nations have their initiative on Schools Go Green project. So we decided to do that Schools Go Green project. We planted in several schools, and then we planted alongside the Rotary Club International, Warri. And then we planted about 60 trees in Ogedo Primary School in Warri. After that, we also came to Lagos, and then we planted in Green Springs in Lekki, Green Springs schools. We planted
You have
about
been very busy. You are one woman acting now. Let me take you back a bit.
Okay.
When you talked about 2020 during COVID, most of the reports that we saw stated that because we were all indoors, the earth healed itself. Because we were not there every day.
We were not emitting dangerous
exactly. The earth
nobody was on the road. We were living a green life at that time.
Exactly.
People were not
the waterways became clean, the air became fresher, and all of that. And I think this is where we have to carry the campaign and go to the doorstep of the women, because we are naturally nurturers. And we are the ones that bet these children. And so we need to be conscious of the earth that our children are living in. So what kind of earth are we living, or are we encouraging for our children to inherit after us? So we need to be conscious. All the pure water nylons, all the very many nylons, because we're the ones who go to the market, we're the ones who get these nylons, we're the ones that apply all the chemicals on our hair, on our faces.
Everything that we're doing.
So how do we as women become gatekeepers of our world so that it doesn't collapse on all of us?
Very good. Yeah, we can take action now. The consolation is that we can definitely address this, and then we still have some time left. We have to vastly increase our efforts. The world must transform its energy, its industry, its food, its agriculture, its forestry, and then even land use. And you know that women, like I said, are the gatekeepers, they are the nurturers, and they have a lot to do. They have to take the lead. How do they take the lead? They should calm down and then reduce their own carbon footprint. Please dispose your trash very well. Do not burn your trash. Please learn to cook less with electricity. Learn to cook with renewable energy. Learn to go green. There's so much you can do. It's so beautiful having to go green. Learn to dispose your trash. Do not burn your trash. Do a lot, and then educate your children on this. Even when you have to cut down trees for reasons, either it is encroaching on the right of way of NEPA or the wires and the cables, you need to replant. You need to replant, because the beauty of trees is animals, so that we can live.
As I see it, thank you very much. As I see it, our biggest job is education. We need to educate the women, because I can tell you that most don't even understand the implication of what they do. Because as we're talking now, you said if you cut a tree, plant one. Most houses in, let me say, Lagos, for instance, you can enter a house and you won't even see a plant, not one plant.
I can tell you that most
when you tell them, they think that Ezinne, they think that you're just talking because you want to talk. Sometimes I tell you that people see me and say, Josfyn, you have so much money now, or you don't have anything else to do. You're just using your money to buy trees and plants and then plant.
But that shows one, the ignorance. They are not aware, and two, the carelessness. And then, another thing, that we're quite religious, yeah? And we keep saying, God will take care. But you see, God is not going to, God has created a perfect world and given unto us a perfect world. So it's up to us to maintain the world. We have to maintain the sanctity and the sanity of the environment that we found ourselves in. God is not coming down to help us. You see that I keep harping on this because I think this is one of the biggest problems that we have in Lagos State. These nylon bags, there is no gutter, no sewage point to get to that you don't find it. That's what blocks everywhere. And I still maintain that it's women who go and buy things and get all these black nylons from the market, from supermarkets, fast foods and everything. And then they just do what? After you're done using them, you carry it and then everything is blocked. And then it's breeding mosquito, the water is not flowing, and we're all of us are in one way or the other suffering. So I do not even think that is, I think it's out of the place of ignorance that they are saying that, oh, you have so much money to be buying trees, to be going up and down. So I think that the message, the more important, or the first thing to do, to focus on, will be on educating the women. Because I tell you what, if women understand, if they get it, then they can run with it.
Yeah, it is not too late for everybody to act. It is our duty to act. As a matter of fact, myself and my team members in SMP Communication and then Rotary Club and other places where we collaborate, what we're doing now is to take this campaign to the youth and women in several places. In no distant time, we have secured a time frame and an appointment with St. Jude's Catholic Church, where we are going to be educating people, especially the youths and women, and the moment we are able to do this, we'll run with it in several other places. And that's the first point.
Thank you very much. Because honestly, this conversation is taking me all the way back to when I was growing up. We had green parks, in our estate then. We had areas that were designated green parks where you go and then, people can recreate, and then also the earth can be replenished. Because what it works both ways. We take in oxygen and bring out carbon dioxide. Yes. And then the trees help us with the oxygen that we take in. So it makes sense that if we understand this simple science, then we need to know that as women, we should plant a tree. Yeah. And then, of course, moving on to other reasons why our earth is being vandalized, and we're having the climate changes that we're having. The other time when we were chatting, you were saying to me that, I think that was like Psycha April or something like that, and you were asking me, is this supposed to be hot season now? Is this supposed to be rainy season? And I'm like, everything has scattered. Everything has just scattered.
That's the alteration, and so everything is altered. Before now, you could actually predict the volume of rainfall in September. You could actually predict the volume of rainfall in July. But now, everything is scattered. You can't make out exactly what is happening. And then that leads to death, that leads to health challenges. The moment it rains here, the kind of cold that will come, it's unbelievable. And then I haven't seen the kind of malaria surge and then health challenges in the last 3-4 years. And typhoid, everybody is moving about with bags of typhoid. Everybody is moving about with cartons of malaria and mosquitoes. And if we are able to take care of our environment, especially women, because it is on your doorstep. Tell this child to clean the environment, make every effort to see that your environment is clean. The man has a lot on his hands. You are the gatekeeper. You are the one at home. These children, when they begin to get sick, it is on you. So that is why we say that, and not just we say, that is why we know that climate change affects women and children the more. So what are you going to do? Are you going to just sit and watch? And when the heat comes, we were here some time ago in Canada, people were almost going nude because of heat wave. I never had heat wave until 7 years ago.
I tell you what, I lived one of the hottest days in history in the UK 2 years ago. I was smack in the UK on a day that was supposed to be summer, but they had the hottest day ever. People died. People were melting in their cars. Houses were melting because, of course, they don't build houses in the UK, for instance, for heat. They actually build insulating for cold. So can you imagine the heat came and melted everything? So now the UK is sitting down, for instance, and having meetings with engineers and architects on how do we re-engineer and build our houses so that heat, rain, cold, whatever, we will be able to survive. But these things, we're not talking about them here in Nigeria. And we're all just going around and screaming, the economy is bad, the economy is bad. But the fact is that we even need to sustain ourselves first. You know, it is when your earth is sustainable, then you can now start doing other things to engineer the economy to come. Most of us do not even realize that the reasons why we're ill is because of climate change.
Oh, sure.
Lydia has been listening to, yes, Lydia has been listening to us and nodding her head and smiling. Just before I bring you on, Lydia, let me say hello. I can see Tyra Afa Akban. How are you doing, ma'am? Nkechiobi. It's so good to have you on this live. Thank you for joining. Yes, so Lydia, your floor.
Yeah, so during my student days studying climatology.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine we have a climatologist in the house?
During my student days studying climatology. So rainfall is formed by vapor coming from the earth, the atmosphere, and then dust particles.
We have gone technical. Okay, go ahead.
From clouds.
Yes.
And then that later gets heavy. There's a cumulative. Let me know good deep, but there's a particular cloud that causes rain. Right. So now our environment plays a crucial role. Now, she said in those days you could predict the amount. Now it's only now this is because of the kind of our surroundings. Now, when the vapor from the atmosphere, the water and the vapor in on our environment is when the vapor is too much, floods here and there, everywhere, the water is not going out, the waterways are blocked, we are building houses, chasing the waters in, pushing water line, and then now we're having more water in our environment than it's supposed to. You understand? Now this vapor goes up. Now this vapor goes up, vapor from the atmosphere, vapor from our environment. Now the rainfall is too much.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
So now my major question is this. I just try to clarify that point. This could be what's happening with the excess rainfall we're having nowadays. So I can imagine by now in September, there's this rainfall this rain that I think around the first week of September, Ojo that has never known flood.
Oh yes, I saw that. Yes, they market people and their stuff. Yeah.
So my point is this: I realize that this is caused by, just as you said, all these takeaway plants, nylon, building houses on coastal lines and all. Now our government is not doing something to mitigate this. So what ways? Like my dad is fully into recycling of plastic products. So is there any way or any policy that can be implemented to promote recycling? I feel like trying to tell people to waste these things or dispose it off properly is no longer working. Can we try implementing recycling? Now, recycling can help. With nylon, my dad produces very beautiful plastic products. Many kind of things. Now, people can even make money. I feel if we channel their mind through this pathway, something better can come up. So, is there any policy, or are there any ways we can implement that?
Over to you, Josfyn.
Okay, very good. My young lady, thank you for your education and thank you for the questions too. The scale of action required to help mitigate everything climate change is underestimated. You understand? We have so much, and the government can actually take the lead. Government can do a lot in decarbonizing the environment. Do you understand? A lot of actions, they have the almost lies on them actually to transform, you know, the energy, transform the transport system, transport the forestry, transform our agri, transform infrastructure and everything, even the land use. If you put, they used to be in Lagos, they say, if you dump refuse here, you they no longer say you will go to jail. I think they say the herbalist is coming to take you. And so I think that's quite more. And again, they now say if you dump refuse here, you're not going to jail, but there's something more scary, you know. These are all efforts meant to help people not to dispose their waste very well. And like you rightly said about plastic pollution, is actually mounting in Lagos. When you get to some areas in Lagos, you'll be surprised. I don't want to mention the area, but it's around Motion. We took a trip there and we saw, I'm sure those people are playing with outbreak of cholera in no distant time. And women live there. That's the most shocking problem. One, women live there, parents live there, people eat and then work there. So government can actually take a lead, but we also will need to help government. The government cannot just come to your area to start cleaning with you. You have to do it by yourself. And so if government puts in some laws in place, you know, for zero carbon emissions, plastic pollution, it will go a long way. But I can tell you that there is sustainability challenge. You know what I mean by that? Much as you are doing this, humans are also doing 10 times of, you know, against what you're doing. If I tell you now that some people do not actually believe that the effects of climate change is imminent, while we are campaigning for against it, they are unbelievably, you know, campaigning for climate change. It's shocking. Why? Because of the benefits inherent for them. Do you understand? And so these are issues that we have to. So it is government that will take the lead. They need to adopt carrot, stick and carrot method. You know, they push you here, they pamper you here. They will need to say, some governments are beginning to do it, but I think the Nigerian government will have to do that. You know, where they will have to take this approach, like including tax, green taxes for people who are able to come up with innovations, you know, to help and then build things that will help to make life easy and better for people. If you go for recycling, yes, it is good. There are people who are doing it. Government will not come to help you. You will have to start. I see women who pick plastic bottles. Yes, they sell. Yes, they use it for I know there's a place where they use it for school fees in a school in Ajegunle. You understand? There's a man who has come up with that initiative. The more you push in plastic bottles, I think the more the money you have to pay for school fees go down. So that's a great initiative. And so government can come up with initiatives and say, these people who are working and creating innovations to help regreen the earth, we need to support them. Maybe give them rebates, maybe give them grants, maybe give them you know, assistance. People are up now trying to build electric cars. Government will need to help them. And I can tell you, as we're sitting here, that the greatest emitters are two big countries, China and America. They are pushing an agenda saying that between 2050 and 2060, they should have gone decarbonized to the barest minimum. And so we're doing quite a lot. It may not show now, but I think because everyone is sitting on a time bomb, we understand the enormous challenge, and when we understand that we must act now, like Ezinne says, we must act now. But women and children, women, please act. Women, please act.
Thank you very much. I see Janet Adebayo, you're welcome to the live. Thank you for joining us. So now back to you, Josfyn. You know,
Yes.
We love to desire to be like the foreign countries. We want to, for instance, we want to be overnight as developed as the UK or as America or China or anywhere else. But we don't want to take the little practices that they do and inculcate it in our lives. I know that in the UK, they have like 2, 3 bins in the house. One is for plastics, one is for paper, and one is for maybe leftovers or stuff like that. And then you put all of them like that, and then you separate those things in those different bins. And the funniest thing is Nigerians who visit or who even live there do these things. But when you come back home here, like let's say for instance in Lagos, you have just one bin. You put your nylon, your plastics inside there. You put your paper inside there. You put everything, syringes and all sorts inside there. So even the job of sorting becomes Herculean. So we need to start from, I keep telling people that, you see, these people that we want to be like are not any more intelligent than we are. We are thinking beings, everybody. But the thing is, their government repeats the same thing over and over and over until it sticks in their brain. For instance, if you get on a train and you want to hop up or hop off like 4 bus stops, okay? They don't just keep quiet and then start telling you just a few minutes to that bus stop. You could have slept off or something. So you find that they keep repeating, next stop this, next stop that, and coming up next is this. And it's repeated every so often. So on that your short 30 minutes ride, you probably heard that same information like maybe 20 times. So it sinks in. But you see, what happens is you and I have this conversation now, and then nobody's talking about it again. Until the next time you go to St. Jude's, or you go to Magodo, or you go to your village. That's when it will. So how do we couch these messages so that we are on a repeat? We're hearing it. Separate your plastics, separate your paper, save the earth, help the earth, go green. And you know, when we say these kind of things, people just think that it's because you have so much money. No, it's because you care about the environment that you are living in. If the earth is washed off tomorrow, for instance, by flood, there's nowhere for us to live. If it becomes too hot for us to function, there's nowhere for us to live. You know, I know about a very hot country, Dubai. They're usually like not doing anything in the afternoons. They have to compulsorily nap and stuff. I know that when I go to that country, I shop in the night. Yes, because I can't bear the heat. So how do we do all of this to constantly, that's why I like the fact that you said you've taken it to the children. If our children get it, maybe we're too old to learn this thing in our old age. But even though I don't think anybody is too old anyway, we can do the best that we can do.
Yeah, like you rightly said that there are some countries that are actually experiencing excessive heat, you know, until we are able to take action and then bring the temperature level to 2 degrees centigrade or 1.5, you know, that's what the world is pushing, and that's what the governments are pushing. But then it starts with us, like you rightly said. If you notice that when it rains, the entire environment, your immediate environment, gets flooded. There are some areas that, yeah, and then you see heaps of trash coming right on your doorstep if you don't take care. Sometimes it is difficult for you to come down after the rains. Now you start using shovels and rakes to push them aside and push them back to the gutters. Sustainability is key, and we need to sustain this environment. If anything happens, you and I won't be sitting here. It is our own jobs to save our environment. So we must keep talking. Isn't it? I am not going to be tired of talking. I am not going to be tired of taking this awareness and campaign to places. I know it is a long way off, but the more I talk, the more people get to listen, and then it sinks into them. If I am able to take it within my environment, and you do that, and the young lady does it, I mean, three communities in this Lagos would have gotten somewhere. My father used to say that you have to start, you have to light your candle in your small corner. I light mine in my corner, he does, and then by the time you know it, the entire environment or the entire community is illuminated. So we cannot give up. And how do we do that? Constant drive, and then going out to talk to people. If I had the money, I would say, let me put up radio jingles, let me put up television jingles. But I can tell you, Ezinne, since I started this, I haven't got a dime from anybody, and I am not sure I will get now, because it is difficult to push this kind of agenda to people. Buying and selling it easy. You know, please give me 20 million. By the end of March, it would have come up to 27 million. But this is social enterprise, so it is difficult to sell the idea. But we are selling, myself and my team members. I know the great guys at SMP Communications, GSR 360 Limited, and then the 1 million tree initiative. We are doing all we're doing, and the money comes from all of us. We just tax ourselves. We do what we call one-on-one approach. We do what we call community approach to raise money. We do what we go on guerrilla warfare, almost guerrilla approach. Ezinne, my friend, please give me 10,000 naira or buy 7 trees. That's the way we drive this campaign. This young lady,
and that's the way we're going to keep driving it until it becomes a movement.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. If each woman can tell her story, if each woman can plant a tree, if each woman can take responsibility for her piece of the earth, the story will get traction and keep being retold and retold. Emeka, thank you. I can see you. And Emeka says sustainability is key. Government must take action. Yes, we totally agree with you, Emeka. I'm sure Josfyn is going to also agree with you. But even as we encourage or wait upon the government to take action, we're saying that we as humans, women especially, should take action. We should become a little bit more conscious of how we dispose waste from our homes. We should become a little bit more conscious of the kind of makeup, body oils and stuff that we use. All of these things emit gases, and they all, every woman now is fair. Every woman is on some kind of cream or something, and all of those things
I'm not fair. I'm not fair.
No, but you know what I mean.
I do.
So we can, and these things we have to do things that are sensible and things that are healthy for the earth. The earth also needs to be replenished. The earth needs to be nourished. I mean, come on. It's like the way we nourish our bodies every day. We have to nourish this earth, because this is the only home we have on this side of the divide. Yeah? Thank you very much. It's been nice talking to you, and I'm sure you don't even realize that we've talked for an hour.
Oh, wow, really? We can actually go on and on, but it's okay. And thank you for having me on this program.
That's how time flies when you're having so much fun. Lydia, are you still with us, or have you left us?
I'm here.
Okay, so do you have anything to chip in before we start saying our bye-bye?
Okay, what I have to say now is that with every little thing, everything that this is me saying this to the youth out there. Let's do more of that. I believe that currently I have a skincare brand, and I'm currently researching on how to get packaging materials that don't have to do with plastic. I'm researching on packaging materials that can just with water, if we just go off and we dissolve, it doesn't have to plug anywhere. So let's start with the little we can do. Let's do, no matter how small, let's act. Let's act now.
the time is now. Let's not postpone anything. Let's not procrastinate about it. Let's do the little we can do. Every little action goes a long way to make a change in our society.
Thank you. I see Wash Uba on the timeline. Welcome, Wash. How are you? And welcome. Wash says government orientation agencies are docile towards their duties on campaign jingle for climate change issues. Josfyn, do you want to talk about that quickly?
Yeah, I think governments they are not sincere with their agenda. Oftentimes they do. I see them doing what I call a policy somersault. You say this and then you do another thing tomorrow because of the benefit that you're going to get. And so you leave the masses to their fate. And we must, as a people, start decarbonizing. We must, as a people, take action. We must, as a people, look for ways to help ourselves. The life, we're not going to leave it for government. In any case, who is government? We live for ourselves. If we die, we die for ourselves. If we live for ourselves. So we must take action. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Wash, that's a very interesting contribution. And then noted, we will see what we can do to ensure that with or without government intervention, we will get the climate change issues out there to be in the forefront of issues that women need to look at. And that's why we here at Up You with Ezinne have decided to advocate the whole of October on these pressing issues. Because if there is no earth, there is no us. If there is no world, there is no us. If there's that song they sing, if water carry us away, we're done for. If the heat melts us, there's nothing. I don't know how we can't understand this, that we can't do anything if our environment is unfriendly, if it's hostile. And we're the ones that keep aggravating the environment, who we inherited an awesome world. And judging from when I started hearing about climate change and all of that, I said maybe when I was in secondary school, it's a long time now. And then if you just keep beating the earth for this length of time, one day it will revolt. Like we're seeing it revolt in several places. We're just lucky in this part of the country that we haven't gotten that revolt yet. And so we must ensure that we get it. And how do we do this? We have to take the stories back to our families. The family is the smallest unit of the society. So in our families, we need to go back, and the mother is the engine house of the family. So we need to go back and speak to our mothers, speak to our friends, speak to our sisters, and tell them, you know what? It is our responsibility to preserve the earth. And then we keep selling the story. After all, we can do this because we did it during COVID. Didn't we all wash our hands? Didn't we all wear a face mask? I think if we make them understand that healing the earth is a priority, otherwise we'll have no earth. Everyone will get in, and it becomes a campaign that all of us are championing, not just Josfyn Uba and 1 Million Trees NGO, but every single woman, every single man out there will champion this cause. Josfyn, thank you so very, very much for coming on this live with us today. You have actually opened my eyes personally to a lot more. I thought I knew, but chatting with you now, I now know a lot more. And I promise you, I'm going to do more investigation and get a little bit more involved in ensuring that we do right by the earth. Because that is the only way that you and I can stay here and thrive and subdue and what else, we like Christianese, and dominate. The only way to do that is to make sure that what we are planning is even healthy enough to sustain all the plans that we have. So thank you very much. This is where we wrap this edition, the first edition of Up You Live in October. It's been another amazing one. Everyone, please follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Up You with Ezinne. Get copies of our books, Up You, and When Adversity Strikes 5. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Humans are the only creatures who destroy their environment and later cry that their creator to come out. Exactly, Wash. That is exactly the point. Emeka Ikade, thank you, Josfyn. Thank you, Ezinne, and thank you, Lydia. Thank you so much for coming on the Yes, yes. Thank you. I see you all. Thank you for coming on this live. It was thoroughly enjoyable. Big up to everyone. And then see you next week, same time, Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Bye for now and up you.
Help you.